All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to go back, pause the video on each plate. I want you to fold the paper in half and then fold it in half again so you have it divided into fourths. And I want you to put 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I want you to draw a picture of what the soil looked like, and I want you to use words to describe what you saw in the soil. And then I want you to snap a picture of it. Either you do it or have your mom or dad do it, and then email me that picture to fanneja@nv.ccsd.net. And that is also on my first page, my home page. You can also find my email address there. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take each of these vials and we're gonna add some water to it, and then we're gonna look at what it looks like after we add water. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna suck up as much water as I can, which is usually 50 mLs, because we've used these a lot. And I'm gonna start with vial number 1. And this one is like similar to that of what is at the on a riverbed. Okay, I wanna get as much water in there as I can. I'll stop there so you can kind of see it starting to seep into it. And then I'm gonna shake it up because I wanna mix it all up. I'm gonna turn it upside down. We wanna get this all mixed with water, and I'll add some more water to it too. Okay, so there's that. Then I'm gonna add some more water. So we're close to the top. Okay. And then I'm gonna mix it up again. And then you can kind of look. And if you look, you see some of the stuff's already starting to settle. The larger pieces of material are starting to settle. And if you look, you see, you can kind of see at the top, there's some of that black soil material kind of floating and separating out towards the top. So we're gonna see what happens as we have this sit until our next lesson, okay? So there's that first one. Now we're gonna do number 2. I wanna kind of look and remember what this is representing. All right, so this is like a mountain. Remember, with the big rocks and the pebbles and some sand. So now we're gonna add water to this. And that goes right into it a little bit quicker than the other one did, right? So this, the water is able to run down it a little bit faster and better than the other one did. And you can kind of see there's a little bit more of that dark soil in there. You can kind of see the rocks are settling out first towards the bottom. I'm gonna add some more water, but I need to suck up some more water in here. Open it up again. I want it to be about the same. Let me see if you can kind of see, if you look at the top, you can kind of see that humus is starting to go towards the top. That's the black material. That's the decaying plants, the dead plants and animal material. That's starting to settle off at the top. So that's that one. Mix it up one more time. Okay, now this one's the representation of our desert soil. So I'm gonna add to this. Let's see how it seeps in. See how it takes a little bit longer to seep in there? That kind of explains why we have a lot of floods here, because our soil doesn't soak up the water as quickly. So I'm gonna mix it up. And you can see it's starting, you can see these are starting to settle down. These are the larger rocks. Okay, and you can start seeing the decaying material floating towards the top. I'm gonna add some more in here to fill it up similar to the other ones. And then I'm gonna mix it up again and let you guys look. Okay. Last one, this represents the forest floor. And that's where you have lots of trees and plants and vegetation. Okay, it's starting to soak in. It soaks in a little quicker. I'm gonna get some more and put it in there. I'm gonna put my lid on it. Shake it up, and you can tell there's a lot more of that darker material in there. And you can see the rocks and sand kind of settling a little bit. And then if you look, as you're watching it, look at how all that material's. So the forest, because there's so much vegetation in the forest, there's a lot more of that material. See that? And it's already starting to separate. We'll do it again, and then you can watch it. Watch it for a minute. There it goes. You can already start seeing it. Now, it would be really super interesting to see what happens once we let this sit for a while. Okay? So now, let's try to close this out a little bit. So, which material settled out first after shaking the vial? Okay, so remember, we'll get this one. Those larger materials are what settled out first, the larger rocks and pebbles. The smaller materials, especially the silt and the clay, which is also in this, stay suspended in the water for quite a long time. So if you look, it's still foggy. It's not clear. It hasn't separated. That's the silt and the clay that's in here. Okay. Where was the humus? Now remember, I'll pull out a couple of them. See the humus material? That black stuff is towards the top. Okay. And we'll pull out a couple other ones to kind of look at it. If you look at this one, same thing. The humus material is settling at the top. Remember, the humus material is the decaying plants and animals. Okay, and the last one was, we observed bubbles when you added the water to the soil vial. What does this tell you about the soil? So when we added, if you notice, there was some bubbles that kind of popped up. If you want to go back and look at it, you can. And I'm going to tell you what that tells you about the soil is that there's air in the soil, right? So there's little air particles within the soil, and as you add the water and the water starts going down into it, the air has to escape somehow, so it escapes up through the water in the form of bubbles, okay? So I'll mix it up again. You can look at it. You can see those bigger rocks in there. And then again, look at that at the top. That humus material is starting to separate out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to allow these to settle for a little bit of time, and then we're going to look at them next class. And the next class, as we look at it, we're going to start talking about our focus question, which is, what is soil, right? Or actually we're going to answer that focus question, what is soil? And then what I'm going to do after this is we are going to listen to a story called What is Soil? And as we listen to that article, it's not a story, it's an article, you're going to learn about different parts of the soil and what's in the soil and what soil is made out of. And then next class, what we'll do is we'll look at the vials after they've settled for a while, and we'll kind of observe the different portions of the soil, okay? And then we're going to look at something called physical weathering. That's our next lesson. And we're going to talk about what happens with weathering and what exactly is weathering, because that's an interesting concept when it comes to our Earth. All right. Thank you for watching, and make sure to go down and watch the video on the book as well. Okay. Bye.